Do you have multiple gods, each equal and valid?
As a Hindu, I have not been spending much of my mental energy on that.
The concept of God seems to be quite a different in the way, the angle you're explaining from the traditional understanding of God in Abrahamic faith. We, as Ustad Hashim explained earlier on, we have a concept where God is distinct, creator is distinct from the creation, and the concept of God is someone who is, absolute, someone who is one, and you can't divide this creator into parts or into, different, appendages and so on and so forth, just like how people explain there's a sun and there's this rays coming up from the sun and it's all part of it. In Abrahamic faith, God is totally unlike any of these things. God is unique in his uniqueness, and everything else is unlike. Within the Sanatana Dharma, of course, when we read the Vedas or the Upanishads, the Puranas, or Gita, Mahabharata, and all the stories, you seem to be experiencing a concept of God which is quite flexible in understanding, and often there are this understanding of gods and goddesses and semi-gods and demigods, whatever you want to call them, gods and avatars. Just to explain to our audience, when you say Paramatma and everything else is Atman, just trying to, save, somehow unleash from their bodies that they're occupying and mixing with this Paramatma. What's the relationship with this Paramatma and all the other divine entities or beings when they're called gods and goddesses?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have multiple gods, each equal and valid? Just want to clarify the very concept of God that you have. I think plurality of concept is what is maybe a confusion in people's minds.
So what happens, there is an Upanishad called Ishavasya Upanishad. And the first shloka of that Ishavasya Upanishad is Ishavasyam sarvamidam yat kimchi jagatyam jagat. So he says, everything is the abode of God. And there are other shlokas also where it is said that there is, for example, one shloka I was reading the other day, I don't remember it now, but there it is said that if you want to feel my presence, just look around and you'll be able to feel me. So the concept of God being everywhere is there. Now coming to multiple gods, that's one of your questions. And second question is that Bhagavan Ram, Bhagavan Krishna, so how is it that they are everywhere and then there are also human beings? So again, there are a few things that I'd like to say. One is that so far as multiple gods are concerned, I, again, as a Hindu, I have not been spending much of my mental energy on that because I am not a researcher on this. So for me, it's enough as a system of faith. So if I go, let's say there is a god called Hanuman. You would have seen and heard of Hanumanji, So I go stand in front of him. For that moment, I take him to be Hanuman. I draw energy from him. Maybe that energy comes from the universe, from somewhere, I do not know, but it helps me. So he is important to me as a symbol. Whether he existed, doesn't matter to me, so long as it is giving me energy and so long as it is giving me strength. Now, coming to millions of gods and goddesses, if there can be millions of planets and millions of universes, there can as well be millions of gods and goddesses also. So theoretically, we cannot deny that, maybe gods and goddesses are supreme powers managers who are looking after all the universes. How do we know? So since I cannot deny it, I need not accept it also. I just keep it as a part of my belief system and I say, okay, there are so many gods. I love them. I get power from them. I'm not doing research on them, and my life does not in any way benefit by my contradicting or proving the existence of those gods and goddesses. Now, coming to avatars, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Ram, etc. the concept of avatar is, I talked about Purushaha and Prakriti. See, Purushaha is the spiritual domain, Prakriti is the physical domain. So what happens is that at times, God, that is the Paramatma, he can enter the Prakriti domain, in which case he will have to take a human form, because in the Prakriti domain, you can only exist in the, according to the rules of Prakriti. So that is where, what happens is, now, when Corona came, people went to temples, they went to mosques, they went to churches, and they said, why is God not helping us? That is because Corona is a part of Prakriti. It is not a part of Purushaha. So Prakriti acts by its own rules. So if Corona is a part of, if a Corona comes, you have to handle it by treating yourself. So Prakriti is, even for God also, if he has to enter Prakriti, he has to become a human being, and he becomes liable to all the weaknesses and all the other problems that human beings have. So that is why, some people raise the question, if Bhagwan Ram is God, then why did he have to go so much suffering? That is because he was human. So once you enter Prakriti, you are not bringing your godhood there. So this is the belief system. And again, I would come back to the same thing, that as an educated 21st century man, I don't spend much of my mental energy on these things. For me, Bhagwan Ram, for example, symbolizes a lot of things in my mind. And when I think of him, he integrates all those things and gives me power. So for me, that is enough. It's like the national flag, National flag is a piece of cloth. But then national flag also has a lot of significance for us, because there are so many emotions that we have spent on it. So same way, Bhagwan Ram is somebody for whom I have spent a lot of my emotions from my days of childhood. And therefore, he makes a difference to me. He's important for me. I don't have to go into the details of whether he existed or what was he like and all that. So that's how I look at it.